It's another episode of Studio Talk, and I'm in the studio today with none other than the legendary DJ and entrepreneur, Bert Bevans. You've, co-founded and created so many institutions, Ministry of Sound, Cafe Del Mar, you've remixed Style Council, Depeche Mode, you name it, and many, many, many others, So I just want to say huge welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Nice one, mate. Nice. So let's just get a little bit of background about you. Maybe just a couple of minutes or 5 minutes. Top line. Who is Bert Bevans?
Bert Bevans is a guy that's very fortunate to be in the business of music. I wanted to learn I saw these guys, and what they did was they used music to manipulate people, to make them feel good, to make them go on a journey where you would forget your troubles. And I wanted to do that. Now, I knew the music, but I didn't know how to put it together. So I got a job doing lights for Francois Kevorkian in New York, the club New York. Francois and Raul Rodriguez were the DJs, and I did lights 5 nights a week. And from this, I learned how to structure things and so on and so forth. But on weekends, you'd finish what you were doing. And because then I wasn't DJing yet, I'd be at the garage or the loft or the gallery from 11 o'clock at night. They opened at 12. So I would be like number 1 and number 2 on the line to get in. And I'd spend my weekends in these places listening to these guys just take you on a musical journey. It was like a 48 to 72 hour musical journey, just locked in. You went home, you had a shower, you slept, and then you came back. And from that, I just got hooked. I got mesmerized in music. And it's been a long journey. And one of the things that I'm always surprised at is that it's also relevant still today. That journey is available to anybody that wants to do it. And it's not just music, it's everything.
Right.
Live that dream. Why give your life away to somebody else's dream?
Yeah.
If your dream works, even to whatever level, it's fantastic. If it doesn't work, so what? You tried. A lot of people, they give up so quickly. It's just like, I'm not successful within 2 years, I've got a plan.
Yeah.
Well, there's a plan, and you're not privileged to that plan, but it ain't no 2-year plan to do this.
Yeah. Depends on a lot of things happening, a lot of things clicking, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who's your favorite band or musician?
My favorite musician died a few years ago, and that's Prince.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. He delivered his first album to Warner Brothers, and he played every instrument on it. And they said, no, you have to go back and re-record that album. I said, why? I said, because we have to have musicians. We can't just have you. Yeah. And this is what started, a lot of this kind of things is what started his fight for freedom from record companies. And funny enough, I actually like Paul McCartney. He's one of the humblest people I've met. If you get him with a group of musicians and you get him alone, rather than the Paul McCartney that's out there and the whole thing, he's phenomenally funny. And he's very curious. He wants to know why what he's doing from then is working now and how he can keep it relevant to now.
He's always tried to stay current, hasn't he? And he's also very innovative in terms of, trying classical music and all sorts of stuff as well. So
yes.
We had a previous discussion, and I remember we talked about that, how you can sort of draw on so many different influences, into your music. You can't just, be like, having blinkers on. You've got to really embrace everything. And yeah.
Music is a universal gift. So you can't just stay insular and say, this is what I'm going to do, because there's a limited audience for this, but there's an audience for this.
Yeah, thanks. So what about a film? What's your favorite film?
Favorite film. See, I'm a Denzel fan, so I'd say Equalizer 1.
Films. I like Deja Vu as well. And
Oh, Deja Vu is one of my favorite films too. That film, you know, a lot of people didn't get it in the beginning. They didn't get it. And I'm just like, it's in the title. It's what it says. It does exactly what it says in the tin.
yeah.
Like, yeah, but it could have been this and it could have been. No. Don't overthink this. But it was an excellent film.
Any favorite book?
You know, I've been rereading books that I read years ago, and right now I'm rereading Their Eyes Were Watching God, Zora Neale Hurston. And yeah, it's I think go out and get it. This is Jennifer Jazz, and this young lady and I grew up in New York in the same time. And she became the girlfriend of Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Okay.
And she's got this book, and this book is absolutely fabulous. So y'all get out there, have a look, and yeah. So in terms of modern things of what I'm reading, yes. But Zora Neale Hurston, I mean, that book is, 40, 50 years old.
Yeah, I wanted to now move into a different chapter whereby we talk more about your sound, you know, and sort of get into your music and how you think about sound and stuff like that. So firstly, yeah, you know, how would you describe your sound?
In terms of my sound, I like working 6, 8, 10, 12 hours. I like playing that long because I then create the narrative. I create an entire story. We go on a journey. I don't accept a lot of gigs because people offer you gigs, it's 1 or 2 hours. I'm like, I can play 20 tracks in that time and it's done. And it's not a matter of my ego. My thing is, if you're going to pay me the money you're going to pay me, why not let me play a long time? What I'm trying to do is present music. It's simple. I'm not going to take a gig where there's 5, 10 DJs in a night. I'm just not going to do it.
But I like what you say there about narrative. You know, it's not just music, but there's an overarching narrative or an overarching story in the sound of your set. Yeah.
Yeah. Sound is not just what you hear. It's what you see, what you feel within that entire thing. So that encompasses fashion with it. It's not just, oh, boom, 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 boom. No, because there's a visual aspect to it also.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want to be that guy where, okay, she's standing behind you, 1 minute 59 seconds to go, and that's it. You're off. I've been waiting here 1 hour.
This is it, isn't it? There are so many barriers and obstacles sometimes between the true artist like you, Jocelyn, and other people, and the audience, the people that want your music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these obstacles are put there that people that want to get a piece of the action.
And that the narrative also in terms of just like sonically, you know, what are you trying to do sonically, you know, from across the spectrum of the EQ, you know, what are you trying to do there?
Okay. Most people listen to sound like this because they listen to like an MP3 or something. But sound is this. It's all around you, right? So I play wave files, right? And my thing with this is there's no MP3s anywhere. So sonically, my sound will fill the room and across all spectrums.
Yeah.
That's what I go for. And I go for sounds that will be uplifting, not sounds that'll pummel you and hurt you. Sounds that'll make you feel good sonically, right?
Beautiful.
And then within that structure, there are songs that do this. And this is how I play, and this is how I present music. Whether it's new music or what they call old, I don't like the term, oh, it's disco or it's house or it's this or it's that. It's music. It's simple. It's music.
Yeah.
You know, they create these terms so that they can pigeonhole people. But sonically, I don't fit into that. I want to play a whole spectrum of music.
It's dynamic, isn't it, as well? You know, according to your to your narrative, to your story.
Yes.
You know, am I going to be more, you know, filtered off and, you know, more bassy? Am I going to be more trebly? Am I going to be, you know, what am I going to be doing? You know?
No. That whole spectrum is going to come into play because there's certain songs that you will do certain things on to manipulate the frequencies, which
Right.
I do. As New York DJs say, he's working the song. Damn right. You've got a crossover which says, yeah, this is how it should be at this point. This is what I want to hit at this point. And then this is the explosion I want at this point. And you can do that with the EQ.
Yeah.
A good 3-way or 5-way EQ on a system, it's amazing.
What's your favorite EQ system or plug-in or whatever, you know?
Okay. Well, I come out of the Richard Long experience. So I was privileged to play on systems that Richard Long put in, however long, from the Garage to 54 to New York, to Infinity, to Ministry of Sound. So when you play on those systems, there's a certain level of comfort, because you know the system, when you hit it, it will do exactly what you want, where you want it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
People always walk away from those kind of clubs and says, wow, the sound was incredible, but it was clean. It was like a big hi-fi system in your house, but it surrounded you with music. It was comfortable. I don't like playing on sounds that are boom, 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 boom. I say to club owners, you have a wonderful club, but thank you, but no. Because I don't bang. And I'm not going to try and come into your club and bang.
You come out of a real, I don't know, I don't really want to say tradition, but I mean, you know, you come from, you've always made a tradition, right?
It is a tradition. I've got a proper grounding within music. From listening to David Mancuso. David Mancuso in the Loft had the purest sound system you could imagine. Every contact was gold. It was a clip-short system. Every contact was gold, and he had preamps. It wasn't mixer. So he'd turn on one track, it would play. It finished, he'd turn on the other track, it would play. And that was music in its purest form, how it can be presented. And the thing is, it could be loud in volume, but it was never loud that it hurt you.
Do you ever, you know, get into any, you know, do you have like a synthesizer? Do you actually do any like sound design using synthesizers, or, you know, is that something that you sort of delegate?
Okay. I actually delegate that because I can play around, but I need to be able to play, and I cannot play. I'm not going to say, oh, I sit there and I do this and I do that. That's nonsense. There are a lot of people out there that can do things extremely well.
Right.
So I use them. Or we use each other. I shouldn't say I use them. We cooperate together and do things together, and it comes out nice most of the time. Right now, it's Rollo McGinty. Rollo used to be in a band called the Wooden Tops.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Rollo and I do quite a few things together. We did the Cathy Brown single that was #1 for 5 weeks.
Right, yeah.
At Boogie Woogie.
Right.
Rollo and I did that together. Rollo's a really good guy, really nice guy too. And I like his energy. Spend time in a room with somebody working on things, and you have an energy that's open. So if that person is the wrong person to spend time with, it affects your energy.
How do you work in the studio, you know, in terms of like process, the people, the approach, you know, the whole ethos kind of thing?
Well, okay, it depends on the project. If it's a remix and they give you the track, well, you used to get 2-inch, but now they just send you a digital of the whole thing and send you stems.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but if it's going to be a complete remix, which means I'm going to just take your vocals and then I'm going to build a track around that, then I've done pre-production work away from the studio first, which is creating a track, creating ideas, and then Rollo comes in, and we structure it. And if you say, oh, do you want to play bass on this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Or do we get musicians to do it? Depending on the track, depending on the budget, because some record labels are extremely cheap.
Ooh.
Yeah, even though you're going to give them a great project, they're like, oh, but you guys can do it yourself. Can we? Come on. The guy's not asking you for 5,000. He's asking you for 500. And the amount of money you're going to make on the thing, and they still complain about things like that. But you have to stand fast to say, hey, listen, what you're getting here is not some little guy that comes in, samples something and plays it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so come up. And most of the time it works. So yeah, you get the musician in, whether it's bass, percussions, whatever you want to bring in, you record. And then you put that in a structure. You sample it and structure it how you want it. You take the best bits.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best bits is the whole damn thing.
Yeah, right. You're looking for a hook or...
Yeah. But sometimes a bass player, keyboard player comes in and they play 6 minutes long and you think, but there's nothing wrong in that whole thing. He's done the whole thing. Okay, yeah, this is how we're going to go, people. We're going to go from here. Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But lots of times you just sample structure, and we go from there. And hopefully it all sounds good at the end. With good singers, it's very easy. It's very easy because you don't have to do a lot of filters, not a lot of auto-tune, not a lot of this. It's just a nice plate and a beat behind it. And it takes you to another level. I don't like to over-process things. It sounds artificial. I don't like that at all.
I was listening to some grandmasters of film. He said at the thing where you want to start, it was EQ, if necessary, EQ, if necessary, compress.
If necessary. You want to hear sound in its natural processes and its natural source. You don't want to hear something over-compressed and pushed into something. We used to call it 10 pounds of bologna in a 5-pound bag. Yeah. But my thing is natural beauty always wins, regardless of what it is. And if you start off with that, why are you complicating it with this, and this?
What did you think to Avicii? Because I thought some of Avicii's, personally, I thought there's some beauty in his music, even though he was, doing, obviously EDM and all of that stuff. But he managed to incorporate some texture and feel into it. I have respect for what he did and how he presented his music. It gave you a feel for him and a feel for what he was doing. It wasn't just brutalizing you with a sound. Right.
Yeah.
And there's like the Malin. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say also, like you shared with me Malinchak.
Oh, Chris Malinchak.
Yeah.
Chris Malinchak. I love the fact that he did that in his bedroom. I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And again, it shows you that you don't have to over-compress things. You don't have to go spend 100,000 to do something. If you have enough passion and you approach it the right way, it'll hit. And it took time, but it hit.
Absolutely.
And after that, 33 million sold on that track? 33 million?
Yeah, that was so good, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, music comes around in, you can't say you have something new because you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can reinterpret the wheel in that sense.
Reinterpret the wheel. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. There are just so many notes. You can't say I've invented a new note because sonically we can't tune into it. You have not invented another note.
Yeah.
So we just reinterpret things and reuse things, and you take it and then you hit a certain structure and you say, this is what I want to present. And it sounds amazing and people go with that.
Yeah.
But you can't say, I'm the first one that did that. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, get over yourself. You ain't the first one that did nothing. It just worked.
Yeah, I get you. Having said that, I mean, do you think that there have been any particular innovators in your, within your...
Well, there are tons of innovators because Every generation have different innovators. They take it to another level.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, look at somebody like Travis Scott.
Right.
Not only is he an entertainer, he's a huge businessman on the side, and he's taking it to another level. Now, he took it off the Jay-Z level, who took it to another level. But Jay-Z's going more corporate now. And he's gone into, forget the millionaires side, he's going into the billionaires side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's hanging with billionaires now. And that's off the back of, he came from the streets and he's now credible in terms of, he's cleaned himself up and he's done this and he's done that. And he's the businessman we need to represent that community. Well, what community? That billions is not going to a community, it's going into his pocket. No ill to him. I mean, that's how it is. But he's now accepted as the face of Black corporate America, which is a huge thing, which is why he has his dreads and he has his thing, because he said, I can walk in here and now I'm not just a nigger walking in here. I'm a partner walking in here. That's a nigger.
Yeah, right.
But now these young kids, they control their product and access to them. So they control the narrative now.
Yeah, I mean, now you can't just be a musician, but you have to be an entrepreneur at the same time, right?
Completely. Because if you're just one side, they look at you as one dimensional and think, okay, well, I've got no use for him in terms of the music side, so therefore I've got no use for him, period.
Yeah.
There's a synergy within everything now that you have to be multidimensional. You have to be doing this, and this. It's no longer you're an island by yourself and, oh, this is my music and that's it.
I'm quite a bit of a romanticist for the way that things, the way that albums were made in the 1970s with respect to like Tangerine Dream, Mike Oldfield,
Wait. Listen. I'm part of this generation because I have to be, but I yearn for that generation. The 2-inch studio recording, you sit there with musicians that come in and spend weeks. You create an energy and a vibe around producing and recording this thing. And it is like they say, it's your baby at that point. Now I can go in the studio in 4 or 5 days and finish something with 10 people. And that's it. And you never see those 10 people until you have another project to do.
Being able to immerse, right? It's an immersion.
Exactly.
An immersion of months.
So that all stopped when Sony bought CBS. Because now the accountants see, when they bought CBS was the largest thing in terms of music worldwide. When they bought them, they looked at it and they said, wait a minute, you make a tremendous amount of money, but you spend a tremendous amount of money making that money.
Yeah, okay.
We can cut that out.
It's 12 hours.
And they cut it out. And the accountants took over. And that started this whole madness of, you don't need a band to do that. You can do that with 2 people. And no, after this, you don't need 2 people. You need 1 guy to do that in the studio. And now you can present your entire project. Like I said, they can go and listen to it and decide, do they want it? And they don't care how you produced it yourself. And these are accountants have taken over within the entire industry, not just the music industry, in the fashion industry, in the art world, in the whole thing. It's become a corporate global thing now. You got into music because it was a labor of love. It wasn't that, oh, I want to be this and I want to make this amount of money within music. You did it because you loved it.
Yeah, I completely get you. And I think there is a struggle re-emerging now, in the business world and in the music world, across society and economy, of trying to disaggregate from, the corporation as it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. And even like, the old days that we're talking about in the 70s, which I think is a beautiful paradigm, is actually still within reach if we think about social enterprise, crowdfunding.
I know people that are taking exactly that to that level. They're doing now platforms where you and I can buy a piece of an artist of a product that they're doing. So invest in that product and you get the profit back from that rather than the corporations.
Yeah,
it's come now to that level. But you got to look at something like Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing and the Barbershop.
Yeah.
that started that whole kind of thing. The neighborhood paid for making of those things.
Yep.
Because everybody put a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand, and off their credit card, they maxed their credit card to do this and then that. And that started that whole environment of doing that.
I love that word that you used there. You used the word neighborhood.
Yes.
I love that word. I don't hear that often used, but I love the feel of that word.
But see, most people forget you're not by yourself. You didn't become successful by yourself. You became successful because of the people around you and the people that supported you, and not just your family, your neighborhood.
Right.
When I grew up in Queens, in New York, we used to have these block parties in the summer, which means you close off one end of the street here, one end of the street there, and you put a sound system here and a sound system there. And the entire neighborhood brought out food, not for sale, to give away to everybody. And it was a party.
Yeah.
It was a party. And beautiful. I miss those kind of and things. The cities have taken those kind of things away from here. Even the first time I came to London, you had the GLC. And the GLC used to have things like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was amazed that England had this. I was like, this is the same as New York. Well, I did that thing, Soul Deep.
Right, Soul Deep. Yeah.
And I did the mixes for that.
You did, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of your music now, the future, what's happening now with you, sort of music projects and going ahead? What's your plan?
Well, as I mentioned before, I'm doing a couple of tracks with Jocelyn Brown, with Martha Walsh, and with Todd Terry. So those are my immediate things. I've got another project with Kathy Brown. After our success with Boogie Woogie, she wants to do more things. And I like Kathy. She's a very funny person. And then I have an Asian project. There's a DJ from Thailand, from Phuket, Q. And I can't pronounce his last name, so Naharon Wangate, I think. Sorry, Q. But anyway, just Q. And he's fantastic, and I watched his growth, and now he's signed. He's got his own record label called Ballroom Records. So I'm going to do a couple of tracks for him on that. So fairly busy in that sense. And then I have other big projects in terms of helping designing clubs and putting clubs in various places and festivals. We've got the first, I hate the term EDM, but we've got the first EDM music festival happening in the Maldives in November. And it was with the approval of the Maldivian government. You have to have your 2 shots, you have to have proof of 2 shots, and of course you have to have a test to get onto the island. But this is going to be huge. This is going to be huge.
That sounds amazing, mate. Exciting times, yeah, coming into
yeah. This pandemic has to be over sooner or later.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what was it like to perform, recently, when the rules were relaxed and you could perform again, get on stage?
Oh, a sense of freedom. However limited it was, it was divine to be able to play music and to interact with people musically. It was like you were cut off for such a long time. Yeah, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. I look forward to every gig that I have now. I have, when they said it was going to open, then I booked a series of gigs and then they were canceled, obviously. And then you have to go back to this thing of wait 2 months, 3 months, and then start. So I have Portugal that I'm starting with. Then I'm going over to Ibiza to play a couple of parties there. Then I'm going to Tallinn, to Estonia. And then I have to go to Belize. I have to go get a passport in Belize. Our field was athletics, and we had 4 athletes in that field. Didn't do extremely well, but we were in the Olympics, and we are Belize, a country of 330,000 people. So
that's amazing. So I think, as they say in Thailand, is it Sawadikram?
All right, Sawadikram.
Do you speak a little bit of Thai now and again?
My Thai is terrible. My Thai is absolutely terrible.
That's all I know.
Really?
Yeah, that's all I know.
I can order food in Thai. I can count and so on and so forth. But in speaking Thai, I have 2 kids in Thailand. They speak Thai, Russian, and English fluently. My entire thing about everything in life is, as far as we know, you get one go round. So when this is over, this is over. You know, nobody's come back from the other side and say, yo, they doing this over there and they doing that. Okay? Nobody. So why not enjoy what you got here?
Yeah.
You know, and enjoy it with the people around you. And while they're here, tell them how much you appreciate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't wait for their funeral to say, oh, I love them and I did this and I did that. Tell them while he's here. We're busy as a society, rushing everywhere, rushing. Where you rushing to? Where?
Russia.
Even the Russians don't want to be rushing to Russia. So enjoy it and enjoy your fellow man and be compassionate. We've lost this compassion that we've had because everybody's now in this me society and what I've got, and I've got the latest this and the latest that. And that's a terrible thing. That ain't life. That's a prison.
I just want to sort of say thanks so much for the interview today, and thanks for all the music as well.
Absolutely, absolutely my pleasure. When you do things out of a love. So when people appreciate it, it's wonderful. So thank you.
Come on.